Welcome to Eye on the Tigers News. I'm Amber Mashuk. Thanks for joining us today for the news we've been following for you. In ringing and personal terms, President Donald Trump on Thursday pledged that we will overcome addiction in America, declaring opioid abuse a national public health emergency and announcing new steps to combat
that they'll crack down on the flow of the drug fentanyl. He said that the federal government would work to develop non-addictive painkillers. The president also pledged to bring lawsuits against quote-unquote bad actors in the opioid epidemic. According to the CDC, drug overdose deaths in 2016 exceeded 59.
Republicans powered a $4 trillion budget through the House on Thursday by razor-thin margin, a close vote underscoring the difficulties that lie ahead in delivering President Donald Trump's promise to cut taxes. For now, Republicans sidestepped divisions within the party by voting 216 to 212 to permit them to begin work on a $1.5 trillion tax cut without fear of blocking tactics by Democrats. Locally, Congressman John Katko voted against the bill opposing a proposed tax plan that would remove the local and state tax deduction New Yorkers rely on. President Trump signed a $36.5 billion emergency aid measure on Thursday to refill disaster accounts, provide a cash infusion to Puerto Rico, and bail out the federal flood insurance program. The president signed the bill after the Senate sent him the measure earlier this week to help Florida, Texas, and Puerto Rico after a devastating string of hurricanes. The funding will also bolster western states dealing with massive wildfires. To date, Congress has approved more than $50 billion in disasters aid this fall, but more money will be needed. The states and Puerto Rico continue to assess the damage from an onslaught of damaging storms. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo announced Thursday that his state will help restore power in Puerto Rico and also improve access to clean water as the U.S. territory struggles to recover from Hurricane Maria. During a one-day visit to the island, Cuomo pledged $1 million through the Empire State Clean Water Fund to buy water filtration systems and said he would deploy a tactical team in November that specializes in the supervision of transmission and distribution system recovery. It is the second time that the New York Democrat has visited Puerto Rico since the storm, and he criticized the federal response. President Trump blocked the release of hundreds of records on the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, bending to CIA and FBI appeals, while the National Archives came out Thursday night with a hefty cache of others. "I have no choice," Trump said in a memo, citing potentially irreversible harm to national security if he were to allow all records to come out now. He placed those files under a 6-month review while letting 2,800 others come out, racing a deadline to honor a law mandating their release. The documents approved for release capture the frantic days after November 22, 1963, assassination, during which federal agents madly chased after tips, however thin, juggled rumors and shifted through leads worldwide. We've got spectacular weather on tap for Saturday, and then not so much. Here's Maya with the forecast.
After a mix of sun and clouds Friday and temperatures recovering into the mid-60s, we're set up for a fantastic Saturday. We start off cold at daybreak, but the sun will be out in force, bringing our temperatures near 70 by mid-afternoon. Saturday night, things begin to change as a cold front comes in and with it brings in some rain. That rain will continue into the Sunday, and we won't get out of the 40s. It will rain hard, and at times it will localize flooding is possibly. We stay cloudy and rain for part of the day Monday before things quiet down for Halloween on Tuesday. But the cool temperatures remain. That's the forecast. Have a great weekend. I'm Maya.
Game 3 of the World Series is ready to go tonight. Here's Bianca with a look at sports.
After a Major League Baseball season that set a record for most home runs, the World Series is off to a flying start. Already, a whopping 11 homers, 6 by Los Angeles, as the side split the first 2 games at Dodger Stadium. The curveballing Lance McCullers Jr. starts Game 3 for Houston on Friday night against Yu Darvish, and the roof will be shut. How the Astros like it. The highest-scoring team in the majors is 6-0 at its thumping home this postseason. The top hasn't been open since early June in order to block out the Texas summer heat. Rain is in the forecast, and the final call on whether to close the roof sets with MLB first pitch. First pitch is slated for 8:08, and the game is on Fox. Joe Girardi was fired as New York Yankees manager Thursday after a decade that produced just one World Series title for a team that expects to win every year. Yankees general manager Brian Cashman announced the move 5 days after New York lost to Houston in Game 7 of the AL Championship Series. An intense and driven former All-Star catcher, Girardi was at the end of his 4-year contract and said last weekend he had to speak with his family before deciding whether he wanted to return. New York made the decision for him. The Buffalo Bills will hope to return on its surprising start when it hosts the Raiders Sunday at 1 o'clock. It's one of several key matchups, which include the Cowboys taking on the Redskins and the Texans and at the Seahawks, and the Falcons visiting the Jets. Here's the rest of the schedule. And finally, NFL spokesman Joe Lockhart says the league expects Colin Kaepernick to be invited to the next meeting between owners and players to discuss social justice initiatives. Lockhart says the meeting probably will take place next week. The Players Union and its members decide who attends such gatherings. The league and players met last week in New York in the wake of backlash concerning players. Demonstrations during the national anthem. Kaepernick, who began kneeling during the national anthem before the 2016 season and currently is out of the NFL, did not attend that meeting. That's it in sports. Have a great weekend. I'm Bianca.
The Drama Club's production of The Bold, the Young, and the Murdered hits the stage November 3rd and 4th at 7 p.m. Tickets are $5 pre-sale and $7 at the door. Several winter sports are asking interested athletes to sign up. First practice is scheduled for November 6th. That's a wrap for us this week. For the staff of Eye of the Tiger News, have a great day. I'm Amber Mashuk.